Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
Well, after days of pretty extreme heat, we are seeing a cooler start to the week today. The local forecasters are tracking how long the relief from the heat is going to stick around. Plus, it is day one of the governor's new mask order to stop the spread of the coronavirus. New at noon, what we're learning about a new exposure that's being linked to a house party. But first, the first day of summer school for Detroit Public Schools gets off to kind of a rocky start after protesters block buses from leaving the terminal. That story topping our news here at noon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Evrod Cassimy. This is video of the scene from earlier this morning outside of the Detroit Public Schools Community District bus garage. As you can see here, protesters blocked the entrance and exit of the bus terminal, preventing staff from entering and buses from exiting. We're told the protests impacted about 20% of the students who were volunteered for face-to-face instruction. Our Paula Tutman joins us now live this afternoon with more on this story. And Paula, I understand the protesters are just some who think students returning right now is a bit too soon.
Yeah, Evrod, this is very, very complicated. I can tell you that there are very few districts that are even offering in-person summer school. Detroit happens to be one of them, but they are also doing it in 25 different locations. So we're talking about high schools as well as elementary schools, or middle schools, I should say. Here at Renaissance, let's just go to the video right now so you can see how orderly it actually was. Students seem to know immediately what to do, whether or not they were told in advance, but we also heard them being instructed, hey, 6 feet apart, you're standing too close together. I saw one young woman walk out of her parents' car without a mask on. She was told to put her mask on immediately, and she did without fuss. Keep in mind, this is very, very important to Dr. Nikolai Vitti, who has a very, very strong impulse to open schools, or at least have an in-person option as well as a virtual academy, understanding there are parents out there who don't want to send their kids to school, but knowing that school is very, very important to a lot of kids. And honestly, to some parents, it's a little unnerving.
Very weird. My oldest daughter went to Renaissance, and so this is totally different. She came to this bridge program, so I guess it's the new normal, but it's very, it's actually just unbelievable that the kids have to experience this.
It's a little weird because I'm social distancing, but, you know, have to stay safe.
Is it a little unnerving also wearing masks and?
No, I think it's just a good precaution to stay safe.
Let me tell you what I liked about that answer is because it really does show how adaptable young people are and their willingness to learn to do things a different way. Now, again, this is very important. I don't think there's a superintendent out there who has in-person learning who won't tell you this is not an experiment of sorts for the potential in-person learning in the fall. And in part, this is part of how Dr. Vitti rolls out his back-to-school plan, a 42-page document that he will be presenting to the school board tomorrow. Evrod?
All right, Paula Tutman reporting live for us this afternoon. Paula, thank you for the update there. We do want to switch gears a bit and talk about the forecast because, well, at 74 degrees to start your Monday afternoon out, Paul, we've been seeing temperatures at this point at like 4:30 in the morning last week.
You're not kidding, Evrod. And, you know, after what we went through last week, we deserve this, don't we?
Just a little bit of a cool off, yes.
Oh, yeah. Today and tomorrow are going to be really nice days and great sleeping weather at night as well. And take a look at the sky cam shot. We've had a real pretty sky in most areas this morning. Not for everybody, though. We'll show you why in just a second. But look at these temperatures coming in. A lot of us are in the low to mid 70s right now. Comfortable humidity. It's just a beautiful, beautiful day out there. Now, let's take a look at the visible satellite. And you can see a lot of those little popcorn type puffs of cloud. So a lot of us a partly cloudy sky. But where it hasn't been is been in the thumb, especially northern St. Clair County and into Sanilac County, where you've been mostly cloudy for a good part of the morning. But I think we're going to see some breakage of these clouds during the day. And as you can see farther south, it's more of a broken up cloud pattern. So off and on clouds and sun. So we'll just call it partly cloudy through the day. And we should get into the upper 70s at least, with maybe a few of us hitting the 80, 81 degree mark before it's all said and done. But as I mentioned, the heat is going to come roaring back. And we're going to talk about that timetable straight ahead, Evrod.
All right, Paul, thank you. We'll be checking in with you shortly. But right now, we want to get to the latest on the coronavirus here in Michigan. There is a total now of over 69,000 cases across the state that we've been tabulating since the coronavirus pandemic began here in our state back in March. There were 390 new cases in just the past 24 hours. The death toll from the virus is now at more than 6,000, but there was only one additional death in just the past day. Governor Whitmer's executive order, though, about face coverings is now in effect, and that order requires Michigan residents to wear a face covering in any indoor public space. And it also requires the use of face coverings in crowded outdoor spaces where you cannot maintain proper social distance. Businesses are expected to deny service or entry to those who refuse to comply, and those cited for not wearing a face mask can face a misdemeanor and a $500 fine. New at noon, though, the Washtenaw County Public Health Department is reporting a surge in COVID-19 cases linked to a holiday party in the Saline area. The health department says that party happened back on July 2nd and 3rd at a location around Saline. New virus cases have been reported among people between the ages of 15 and 25. 43 cases have been identified, along with 66 exposed close contacts, not including immediate family members. So anybody who was at that party asked to be self-quarantined for about 14 days and to monitor themselves for virus symptoms. In the meantime, there was a record number of COVID-19 cases down in Florida over the weekend. Texas is also seeing a spike in new cases and considering another shutdown. Kerry Sanders is in Miami Gardens, Florida this afternoon, as the Sunshine State is now the center, the epicenter of the pandemic.
Sunbelt hotspots are spiking. Florida setting a national record, reporting more than 15,000 new cases of COVID-19 in a single day. At its worst, New York reported slightly more than 11,500 in a single day.
I think something needs to be done, and something needs to be done now.
The unwanted surge comes after the state received over 140,000 test results in just one day. On Saturday, Florida's governor repeated his claim that people trying to escape the heat by going indoors may be to blame.
When it's hot, people would rather be, inside and enclosed air-conditioned spaces. It is going to be a better vector for transmission.
Some Florida communities are rolling back reopenings, closing indoor dining at restaurants, and in Miami-Dade County, a renewed 10 p.m. curfew. Despite the rise in positive tests, Walt Disney World welcoming tourists. Temperature checks and face masks required. But outside the park, Florida's Governor DeSantis is steadfast in his decision that he will not mandate masks. A stark contrast to Texas, where Governor Abbott ordered mask wearing statewide.
I made this tough decision for one reason. It was our last best effort to slow the spread of COVID-19. If we do not slow the spread of COVID-19, the next step would have to be a lockdown.
Florida breaking another record in the last 7 days. 73 people a day dying from coronavirus. 3 weeks ago, the number was 30. Kerry Sanders, NBC News, Miami Gardens.
In other news this afternoon and developing right now, a police investigation is underway in River Rouge. It's happening in the area of Beechwood and Bromley. And unfortunately right now, there's no word on exactly what police are investigating, but we do have calls into police and we are expecting updated information at some point this afternoon. All right, so to come here on Local 4 News at noon, an NFL team is undergoing a makeover. Find out why the Washington football team is ditching its controversial name. But first, the Trump administration is trying to reopen schools a lot faster than some districts want. And now they're discrediting health expert Dr. Anthony Fauci. We'll have all the details next.